Okay, good morning, Marissa. Thank you for joining us. Tel lebo do susray bedul maraklay marubukul belaw. Pilong maybe reklay marmasil belaw. Madirigal President Senator Cons Paulus, marugul senators, Speaker Anastasio, marugul delegates, Chief Justice Niraigalaw, marugul justices, governors, speakers, lators, marbek kalater belaw. Ngara blura ngayon marugul charigi mga raikila blur bela relal sils. Mo subese nga amaldi mga dodo ngara state visit holding la gal baby rablo mo na mo dia gal sigal mga dodo nam larmit tiale e voice ra makka timok mo se may wala sa chief of staff ngora mo update ri dragel lurereth di suadro ay se el silse el altutao ikadul morsel second economic consultation tianga mleurtuiri sir kampaktara 20 tenem legiran beruni rabe karaganding ulablol model di mal mereka suler assistant secretary kantor matimri ngartiang el morsel second consultation aktitribel mutul mora PPR kada Marcel review ay kayidel economic report ride mesaro se kada maral budolier and how do we partner together lisi rablur belo adiri kal diso kal al moduli ase kada maral proud ran ngalget digam le return al mara fespak matrigal digam le return ngara micro games ngari last delegation or arrival al sales kada prouder till mal mlorekrel belaw otiak libela argid otia will sportsmanship and otisir rengan wase ta samaria ladar belaw olisir belaw mora blulaf mang kadabral they congratulate tir and welcome them home dolmol el magti dirigol de wais wase mloria tel el mora blura saibal this past weekend ومثلا هذا الغسايبال يدري كم لم يترتقل هذا PCA التيرا ديك بدوت مامور سلوك مقدرورا بايرتير كده مدي هذا مرة سوليرا هذا والبيرا خلولهم لو سير باسس الباجت المهل برتيل لهم قدر سل البايرتير يدري كم موبيل سل بس كانسلت أوفيسر كده غسايبال ديري كل الشغل اللي وايش راسي كمان مرة سوليرا هذا البير سل Elios ang angal pasari kadi ulit terose ngare kelangan sela Ministry of Health and Human Services katulong itang eswertir mulbol si el nesa el ministry edo sa igel mal los pe edo todo el gutmok lastly kidam denga sa a vice president adibo sila lalsit mo dal sila mangyadalen o mangyala ruba karing ngara blura a Taiwan. Dear Minister, sila magkadala lalsil sa nga Minister Jenkins, Minister Victor, Minister Obiang, of course, Chief of Staff Makmo, o ideolalol mo rin mong kora, mo facilitate at press conference nila lalsil se, finish na press conference nila lang. Kuman masula. Maluwil 2 times raklay. Medyo energy.
Maka maluwil 2 times, sulang yung president para ilal-update ko mo liya voice box na hindi na kami dahil state visit rin na kapsingin our minister sa Bods of Ilan Cook maski na update madilungin po sulang sabi ito lang mura minister of Iang ukol maski na update ra ministry ngin basta kung umbrella mura sa iba na mitra at PCA.
Minto tayo President o Prime Minister sa mga Chief of Staff minto tayo lay ang mga media ti limutan maluwil 2 mara Mr. Yamadama Mr. Tatina maray mo siyugang President Pirgel Dokyo Sera School ako na di maral mo si Siwak Lim Dalil ang kalmi. Ako na di mong kanyang classmate. hindi ka laluwi ka, yung mo lalawaran mo si Siwa, orang mo maklawlaan. Kasi malamat termi, raulo nga ni Mr. Tapi nga siya ako terengar babal, sabay ito magli na. Ilalak lang atau belang. Kita di suatu muktel do ela yel dilu president ra PC kita no ablura sai vale elem no sabela president el mitra tirgel el member sera PCA sai vale mahuama tomkodo gal ader tilom akla bertirang association ertirel Palau Community Association tirgel ko ngara sai vale nos bela president el mitra tir lawan tirgel ilkuk miladero del board del tara ambasador Rabea director talortir el lo ngasewra PCA kirela no secure utum mang mosubedan makadarus el bai malubeng center el presidente director silvedi del wasen mo house ra sel consulate officer girse madirigal mo subira other belau ngara saibal lo speni lo meeting masada teletela ayel issues ertir manungi la rendir tamanungi rendir presenta silbetil waseng ogiwa mal klol ne sama klaniseu ra olbir halulaw emno sebeltel dar teltel bukto den mo aliaurior yang mo aliaurior segide egida amlam saus pela gel silkuk pail ngara kwam ra hospira other bela or ngima arbebira tirgel other micronesia tira mo tire emat mokla al sendiram kada mlingel wase se dia lengia orokiolel mal ube mukut maklitial lain morse dom dasuri endi amle mal positive message nartira kasi ma sebel lomo la auror mal tamal dimlenga asule la president tamal leadership ra na oike mar other members egida bai oswerte te alle ele dire el merenga sulira adra olbil arsel te nombre el macet del el signer no se el musel ludo del mora mot mokor sel ludo project raminato basi sel ula kuran tarasiaval dilul wasengire del mosutrir tirgel tenants se tirgel adlulu sobar al sel building el ngamo afecta dertial no godrula dit el tomodoringil waseng wal wara resettlement process san mortir gida amno tuir appraisal official appraisal tutto dice gida lor hindi nakakamaloob ang director malaire ati no dong okle muselo ulmulo liara babira appraisal ari rele misegida tingilul mo presente ngiro ige ma presidente pero mereng asulit no superior konyering itian no meregal at supplemental budget na auror elang do mesringin mo o kiwa set schedule tira no superior el good makli kita presidenta dirigam la mention ra lua sen mo o relocation malubang mo besal site mga besal hospital na dirigalo wiser other belau luas dirigalo expert ra climate change dirigam na sugdi luas setel kamkadara rel aldang aringi adi few feet above the sea level elaborini aklo dol ang typhoon ng rangi mate gida rogul madengelwas la moerung del time el de evacuator other tiang regel makloliol tal nervelo mang stats one the other thing asing mo na lakra luir rakar kiltia mang Tidak expert tam na subdito sa tolmol mel suise ngaringi hindi rin man mo ring la ararabay no daso mo atas forsa na lugot tiga president tam na rulia a final reporter ngi das ring morgi mel ang di president malmol lomral was gira del mo titirar expert may mat advisory git ems gida recommendation radi atil kire la site mo ko daruti al hospital masel mo tele la aurora al sela ito uspe advisor firma ay ge aurora marade lang di aurora project ka minister Chengin senti kita tire madingel was sa president tam na informer gid resen mo esen school mo ra papaltaw elal time ka aurora labang kala state rin SR mateligit taktir as bigir Anastasio long dasol wase mo sa modar sa utom mera national government mga mag-release ng school al K-12 mga kindergarten and mo tapatira 12th grade mo sa accommodate rangal kara papataw matidrekal mo accommodate talpor niya aklol kuk mo ngalsang sila ay dal high school dal mara al sila abaludor ese mo di mo kanya gal housing adul sa a president el mortigel agal me sensei a clol sin mo solver sel cook issue rarang leged the recruiter til me sensei was in dia ka telgiban mering la rolia dalang okla selami en ya president om na so sa dagat mo kla housing say yang mo so irtigal yang leged mo be tertira mailing already ngaring ya aplirir que nos sería transición muntelarang al gukmo o makadora ay gel maral mo plirir el bol civil kuk sera la dalang aplirin arbotol valentir sa dolar kilmer belaw jay kama apepira organization dire lang mo sa el help al houses tir game dia bodo mo itamal mo kloludo lo ara aplirir alo do siga dalang aplirin presidenta direkam na subdit a one-stop shop ang Amerika Ureli la kaluwi a presidenta Taiwan presidenta oy alboring ate LL me visit tergida maloga ngarbabal adara Taiwan en so dalmay entara macro project direkal so double weakness ra a completion ringira kada mereka sulira adra Taiwan kirela funding say edi orokyo le la aurora ado meserni en diol gedam aye ide e bai agi lumele presidente octobora Victor Ngagilel wase kon nama bar betokol tayo
Madam Malungil tuta President ma tinggal adra medial no sabihin may ma bekladan mo sabihin mo rang sa manuot mo mesarjan press conference di ko lingit ra talagi bel time di ko ay sa bebir program sa nga ministry kita agriculture fisheries and environment talagi olong sa adra sir sa adra aquaculture mo July 1st sel livestock incentive fund se suporta tokora livestock aquaculture sem luktub logi wa igel mga udodra 1% ra igel udodra tax ra tabaco alcohol mo creator sige del program na America regulation July 1st kita mo implement ra program focus ra sell incentive fund awalo lisi atokora livestock matkora aquaculture kada masada igel kora almora commercial scale trigel adal moktegar tira omgorola babi mal lugat omgorola ngigel magim el moltraw Maria Ardori nan livestock farmers and name register marso mga livestock farmers el dirikal register en arsegi de lurior dolmi tertir el borsel office de la Bureau of Agriculture en Arkansas register and board of eligible and more say given ngeso so that mga sewa arala alela arm so el time en kluga aral imolbek e kita sabi edel mo subsidize ringin mo $16 imolbek andire gal trigel la adal slaughter more than 5 el babi sabi mo angeso mo no sir same mo ri arala slaughter Diregal sumo mga sa babi doltra nekeng $65 imol ng gala babi. Yung ariya adal doltra almel babi piglet. Usually doltra ngara darter kluk. Sige sabi mo to be sel $45 mo malamed mo sige aral ng gala babi mengel adal mo ariya dia ka kulong itra $100 di mo harara $65. Social program el mora tora aquaculture mora tora gel materials el mamru lasers ana la kalela gigil dire kan ana la kalela mo subsidize ana la gel seedlings ma fingerlings dire kan lo litra other was some dire kan register no tangan mo register sel bureau obviously gidra bureau of fisheries ngara amalan bolsumedan mamdel wasi kadamal telal ada abodol mosertil mosel determin raklungen la subsidy mora akala ar ngigna yelgo mora materials diregal na masasel facility gidra amala sele Palau National Aquaculture open BS lobbies diregal nari expansion ratang again expansion ratang mainly dumlo accommodate amo production ra milk fish ngayon wasi el alta mga dire import ngalgen la awal ra Taiwan sera bolsto ba skogira Taiwan and maybe was some loria covid no da so eden import ngalgen la awal sel ngado corporation awablo na sa peril import sel siya martira awablon motro mogiwa ngesora government sera 2021 naglam no stat lo kung ngala ngado corporation rehabilitate ay pandartir elam na mo so edlo so tri ma algala ara at Taiwan almin digit o mesara long term growth ra aquaculture emanel wasya milk fish adi imol badanga langi mo so edel commercially farmer ngira blur belaw namo necessary ko sengere the produce rangal gel rabro belo modulungi tertrigel sa leader Taiwan Technical Mission lo sa kami po to mesra el rangal ara blur belo mo na expand na gel el tang ngariya ngaro ko imel fruits ta kara all ngara sila tang it take time and mo acclimate mo ra gel tang mo sa belong ilomel but anticipate lo sing DSL el arak most of either produce mga 300,000 ngalagala aw 300,000 ngalagala aw na di enough sidra imol regal pandra ngado corporation siya capacity ra regal facility gidra ngamla mga litra ablur Taiwan wase kada kay ngasel lo mesra clol facility kada dire lo mesra clol facility mo por sa edel modarur ra pang left me dal mora igal fishing igal aquaculture pan kada dim liya sa edel mo tumira pan de ambro kada mo focus ra awal kada dasol wase ngariya kaldel lulus balel sa el mawal omngedra long line sa el mogal dire ka sa edel export ngalgel mora ablur huliping tira ka los pe ngalgel awal mo sel dosem business model ra aquaculture ra ala sa edel wasem mo financially viable kada grow ra capacity give o mesa bebil ra batangel species sa edel mo commercially grow and farm madili kay gida dil sa share mal beto mo man mo da temela district sengil sa ko musese sulang
Presidente Mayor Gulingitin, e vai di cruai le ngartel wa dia de lei mal ora sebitani. Maringi alada ni dong ko ni lo se omong association in omong pialin lo munga abu. Itilang amal unique property represent lang adara sales mar adara bung mar adara talong. They're all about amalala mil bung and talong purify ada kali lidi malubeng nikal blara abuay mo. Kada nga sulil tamna nga lakrsel kuktio mesa talang kaklir maka dulia ko partir lo asing mangarang ko klon seora akabalment ang gidar ada belaw hindi ka purify kal facilities kita mo elang time it mga mokosel sign ng airport selulubong sign ng artiyan pang kailang sa selubong se kasi may ko se walo lubong lo mas ela blur belaw emre nga sulira turist na maraming meeting dito eme di Ulite kuiwa clear en ngari Julie Giro Frida J Ailes Subra Benedicta Alfonso Rebecca Sanuma Edna Ormond Sayuri Sal Ayosco Atalik Ngaya Hotel Ngaya ke Retiro Uy Lorraine Amul Pamela Malu, Kimberly Rangel, Delegate President Rablu Nusar, Mina Ari, Deborah Pedro, Momoyo Adarsi, Clara Joseph, Helena Pulibert, Mary Basio, Romana Basilius, Maelin Kumay. Tiga Ibia, ang mga mokorse ko naman mereka sulir, ramalawin lurelir, maomlag ilgirela, ako ka purification, rakalwata rakalurwela. Sulang.
Man sulang minister naman mereka sulir masutrir layang area koratol pesel lawai seri kita melarsel opening ertial economic consultation ya where say angel ambassador assistant secretary kantor ang inatul chegal walbel di level merablur belao first 6 billion el girela infrastructure maintenance sesel 2 million for 2022 23 ma 24 ige mamatmokla igal repair arael ma igal repair hospital tol igal aros activities that were scheduled at the rule net the other check 1,098,000 check girela yes Larovita Mura Ministry of Finance and Mono Sir Gidra data collection statistics sama household income survey kita sing sumusod na mga decision we should have good data mga sula bro regal norms kita technical assistance collect data mo mga sa telang mara trend travel belo di kutel telebek lastly Ministry of Finance ay kalau menggada lang RC part of the economic consultation di ko wise rase of course under the lalbred pasarira sa nira June 10th ani gib tukol subsidies el gira del morto el al time Ministry of Finance Ministry ayel da mga mo kortir mo kung diyan sa announcement at di mo wise rase mo ora tetele la milyon sula
Sulang yung presidente yung top sa tele la Minister Education mukukbol mas kita update rin.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President. I have so much good news to report. I'm going to have to cut it back because this time of the year, it's always the time when school ends and school begins. But I would like to just touch briefly on what has been going on in the schools this past year. The past year was identified as investing in our children. And sometimes those turn to be just words. But this was not. This was reality. It was an investing in both in money, but even more importantly in human resources to help our children achieve the best education possible. So I can just touch on a few of those results, because parents have been asking me, okay, we took all of these changes, we made all these changes, what do we get out of it? Well, here's what you get. This is just the beginning. First of all, the graduation and promotions were, I think, wonderful. The high school graduation, I think, was particularly impressive when you see our children in the way they handle themselves in times of tragedy. It was also the first graduation program I'm aware of that we've ever had, which was broadcast live virtually, because some of our students are also, they're student athletes, and so they were actually competing in the micro games, and so thanks to PNCC, they were able to watch the proceedings. And our valedictorian was also at those games, and he was able to give his speech at the commencement address. So that's an area of what we're just starting to just scratch the surface of the potential of what we're going to be able to be handling in the near future. But I wanted to point out a few things. One thing is that there's a very important item that's come about as a result of the COFA. And I've talked about it in some ways, but I want to make sure everybody on island knows about this, because it's a very important matter. Any Palawan student attending universities in the United States, regardless of which state they attend, is going to only be able to be charged the resident tuition. They will no longer be charged at a non-resident or an international tuition. So this becomes effective July 1st. So any student who's currently enrolled in a college in the U.S. And they want to get this reduction, it's very simple. I've received a letter from the Secretary of Education outlining the legal ramifications of this and how it works, and have addressed a letter to all of our high school principals now for them to distribute to any student attending school, so they will qualify for that amount of money. It's a huge reduction. It will change everything in how students look for colleges, and also, importantly, also in how the National Scholarship Board can assist those students, because we will no longer be looking at tuition charges of $30,000 or $40,000 a year, but more like $8,000 to $10,000 a year, which is a huge issue for us. And that is effective, as I said. Now, so if you're a student, you're currently enrolled in a college in the U.S., please come in and see your principal and get a hold of this letter and address it to your financial aid officer, and to reduce the tuition burden that you are bearing. Next would be we've done a lot of changes, and some of them have been wonder why we're doing it. We have a new calendar. We started a new grade, the kindergarten grade. We've also instituted new programs in terms of curriculum, in terms of reading, and some computer-assisted instruction in all of our academic core subject. I'd like to just touch on our kindergarten grade. I've just received the Iowa test scores. The Iowa test scores are what we use to measure student achievement and school performance. And the kindergarten results, the first year we've had kindergartners who are now in the first grade, and their results have surprised me. We are now, our first grade students who attended kindergarten are now performing at above the average of the U.S. So, in fact, in some schools they're performing as high as the 89th percentile as their average. That's really testament to, number one, the quality of the children we have and the quality of the teaching staff we have. There's been a lot of criticism, but I think our teachers and our principals really deserve some compliments in terms of how they've adjusted themselves to these changes, and how they've seen how those changes are coming up positively for our kids. And that's the main thing we're trying to accomplish. So the kindergarten and the rest of the schools, grade levels and content areas, I'll be getting that out. We're still doing some analysis of it, but generally it looks like we're improving, I would say approximately a 5 percentile increase across the board. So now we have, in some grades, we're now in that 45th percentile, which is what they call average, and that's our average score. That's not our goal. Our goal is, of course, be higher, and we're going to continue doing so. And so in doing that, we have the year-round calendar, which has every quarter, every 9 weeks, the students have a break in which they're not required to attend classes for a period of 3 weeks. What this allows us to do is to offer them all-day programs or specific programs that we can't offer within our curriculum, within our daily day. So, for example, this past year, we had over 50 students, high school students, all enroll in scuba diving lessons and all receive their open water scuba certificates. Some of them, I think 8, have then progressed on to the next level, the advanced level. The reason we have this is because this is a part of our hospitality and curriculum, the pathway, but it's never been able to be utilized because we can't take them on 1 day of school. Now we can have, they take a full week, every day, full day of diving instruction and come out with their certifications. This will then qualify them for employment. And even in the summertime, we hope for summertime employment. And we found out there are over 300 non-Palauans working in the tourism industry in terms of diving instructors, boat operators, and guides, things which our kids are going to be able to do immediately out of graduation from high school. That's our goal. And even before that, during their intersession breaks, be able maybe to get some extra help. We're also working with the Ministry of Finance to bolster our business administration program into having much more emphasis on financial literacy. And along with that, of course, with our agriculture track, we'll be working with the Minister Vincent to give our students more real live farming tips. We have miniature farms on the school, but we want them to get out and learn how to drive tractors and things like that. But this has all come about as our options are, we can't do everything in the classroom. We don't have the expertise. We can't teach kids diving in a classroom. And so we are surrounded by people with tremendous amounts of expertise. And we're hoping to touch more of that as our kids go through to provide them with more pathways to success. And I think we've got a great start. I really want to thank the high school faculty for the way they have enthusiastically worked on this. They're operating right now on developing a new course, which is going to be an archaeology course, which is going to be co-taught by a professor of archaeology who will be coming out here. We're also beginning negotiations with a professor from Germany who is also an archaeologist and has offered to come out and to teach a semester course for us. So we've got a very nice blend of bringing in experts for our kids. And our kids are going to have responded really well to these projects. On a more mundane level, I also want to thank our cooks. People don't realize that our cooks had their workload doubled as a result of the institution of the breakfast program, which has been a wonderful addition for the school. We found that because of the breakfast program, the kids come to school earlier, they have a little social time with their friends, and they're not relying on an after a morning snack, which almost all the time would be like a soft drink and chips. So they're getting a healthy, nutritious breakfast as well as a healthy, nutritious lunch. And so I want the cooks to realize they are appreciated for that. Next would be all of our schools, as you are all well aware, are not pretty, and they're not up to snuff in terms of ability for being a comfortable learning environment. And so we've addressed this in, I think, a very aggressive way this past year in terms of investing in making mechanical different changes in our schools in terms of the high school and the Corona Elementary School, adding solar power, and also adding the addition of air conditioning to some of the classrooms. Following that, we look to our partners, particularly Japan, and they have been generously helping us in terms of a work project which we identified for the elementary school in Northmount, which was in terrible shape if anybody's ever been there. It was a basic, a new body shape. Everything's been changed. Roofs, walls, everything's been changed in the school. It's fully air conditioned. All of the classrooms, cafeteria, all of those now are air conditioned. And it's not air conditioned just for the sake of air conditioning. It's air conditioning for the sake of providing a comfortable environment for students to learn. It's hard to learn when it's 88 degrees and humidity is 150%. Also, as a result of that, we've also moved on and completed the air conditioning project in Waterloo, which is now done. And they have air conditioning in all their classrooms and also their cafeteria. This week, we hope to begin our work with the Koa Moana group, who are going to be helping provide us with labor to install the air conditioning in Naran, which will be done hopefully before the beginning of the school year. Following that, thanks to the OEK providing the supplemental budget, we are now able to offer the air conditioning projects for the other schools, IMA League, and also, we hope, Ngarnamnagui. But Ngarnamnagui has a little bit extra work to do because of some roof issues. But that should be done, as well as IMA League, before the end of the first quarter. That's our goal. So there's been a lot going on. I think the students have profited immensely and they're very complimentary about the air conditioning, of course. It's kind of funny to see them wrapping up in blankets going into their classrooms. The thermostats need a little work, but I think it's been a very good year for our kids, and I want to make sure that we all, if you see a teacher, they really deserve your thanks, and we're working on a professional development plan for them, which will enable them to increase their professional expertise, as well as we hope their financial compensation. Thank you.
Sulla minister atir pengan ngawan nila stel update ra president wala do boratan chopi.
Sula Chief Maricel Mle Palau International Baseball Classic. Malsukan mereka sulala. Of course, Palau Major League. Tigil sa lidra tayo ang Brazil. And organizer tiyal first international baseball tournament ra Blue Belang. Marami nga sulira sel team Ravion, all-star team, team ra PHS na participate. Ramang gila Blura Siaban, South Korea, Guam, Taiwan. I think it was a great tournament, and we hope to see more. Marami nga sulira coaches, parents, families, pero oyanda, Brazil, join and support their program. Tidak di wise Rosea. Arang lagi ang arah Blura Marshall Islands sa last flight. Lord takarang lagi ang Maya Maryland sil sera 5:30. Mla lagi at 6:50. Di mla advance schedule mo 5:30. Ma trial guys. Podo tot kior til merme. Let's welcome them home. Sula. Questions? Yes.
Can you start first follow up on the president's statement?
Ungil tutaw, President, and is this on? Yes, okay. Ungil tutaw. I'm Marissa Delmang Spires, intern for Island Times with Leilani. I have a few questions for you, President. First question is about the micro games, with the conclusion of it and Palau ranking as the 4th overall and Palau hosting Pacific mini games next year. What is the government doing to prepare for Palauan athletes to meet the next year's games, and will Palau be ready in terms of facilities to host the games?
So
Minister Robia, come for update.
Masulara a question sera katliten din naka-record mo di naka-record kama sangat tirigel ngaringire lang Aurior igal facilities mo cater malo mo accommodate athletes tira merbela or next year Pacific mini games sa aulamo or alas tira malamol man maral merela that's when our other PNO sim tirigelo ngara athletes rigit ngaringi abato legal lesson learner tial ko ne micro game mara martial tirigegi dia ko ngara training mara ada de prepare girela participation gidara game gida mo host magadamrenga sulir ranking ma medal selingera martial and the sell the host ada blolom das lo say we have the home court advantage sila nga rin competition magardi man mo blang armud elo do lo kontrir regular training ma practice sila nga rin and as far as facilities sel bolospe a president amateur al director git mauro regular good facilities adong at mokl mo me erse kidal competition na next year
Sulang. And next question, directed for President. With many young Palauans leaving Palau, is there a strategy in place to attract Palau's youth back home? And are there incentives for young people to return?
Tiama, come on, question, answer. So, first of all, thank you for the great question. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we've seen, and Marissa, one of the things that I've done since I was first got into public offices, I go around Palau visiting every home. One reason that we do that is to understand the needs of the people and try to solve problems. And I started doing that with my father back in 2000. And we'd go to villages, Madorm or Iwal, and they say these people left, they went to Iowa. That family left, they went to Michigan. So this trend of Palauans leaving Palau has gone on since we got the compact and before. But since the compact, more than half of our population has left Palau. So when we ran for office, one of the biggest challenges we know we faced is how do we stop the out-migration of Palauans? Then what happens? COVID hits. So even less opportunities. But what also happened in the U.S. is wages went up and unemployment went down. So if you get off the plane in the U.S., you can find a job easily, right? So it made it even harder to keep Palauans in Palau. But from the beginning, we always believe that our goal should be providing the Palauan dream for Palauans. And that begins with providing opportunities. So that's why we restructured the Ministry of Human Resources to focus on getting Palauans employed. But it's more than just getting Palauans employed. We also need to be able to train them, to equip them so that they can get the good jobs. And they need to have jobs that they earn enough to take care of their families. So in 1997, we passed the first minimum wage, law to get it to $2.50. In 2013, the second one. Finally, this year, the OEK has passed the minimum wage to increase it to $4.25 in October and $5 next October. That's in October of 2025, which brings it up to be in line with the government wages that were increased earlier. We believe that one of the important things that we need to do is make sure that our children, our citizens, can earn a decent living. But it doesn't stop there. We also need to provide them a decent housing. We've worked hard to find more funding. One of the efforts has been to get the Saudi loan that you've maybe heard about, the $15 million loan at a 2.5% interest rate to help the development bank to issue more housing loans. The other thing that we're working with is the USDA, working with Palau Housing to increase their programs. They're going to be able to hire a director that will be in country to be able to approve loans and grants. There should be an announcement coming out soon, and they will be hiring somebody to do that. Working with Palau Housing to increase the opportunities for loans up to $140,000 at an interest rate between 1 and 3%. So we're excited about the program, and we look forward to that. You know, there's some of the other things that we're, of course, working on to help our young people stay in Palau is you have to develop a robust and resilient economy. And part of that is diversifying the economy, finding new opportunities, whether it's in the financial sector, which we've begun with the digital residency program and trying to expand that. Diversifying the tourism sector, bringing in new markets. Also, I think the military provides other opportunities, whether it's veterans returning home, because now we have veterans programs in Palau, opening up the reserve program in Palau, and just, of course, the development of the radar sites, airport, port, these all provide more jobs. If anything, I would like to encourage our young people. Palau needs you. We need you to build our nation. There's opportunities. There is so much that's going to happen within the next 5 to 6 years. Between now and 2030, there's a lot of development coming. We need you to come back and help nation build. We're working with our friends from Japan, from the US, from Taiwan, and of course, the implementation of the compact to all provide those opportunities for our people. But the biggest fear we have is those opportunities are going to foreigners. And I'll just give you an example. Right now, there's over 6,000 foreigners that work in Palau and growing much faster than Palauans. Palauans working in Palau, 5,000 and shrinking. In fact, we cannot hire enough teachers, we cannot hire enough nurses. There's nobody applying. If you go in the private sector, there's not enough people. Well, I think partly that has to do with wages, so that's why we're working on getting wages up. So thank you for the good question. Wilger, Sulang, Wilger.
Yes, Sulang. I have one more question, if that's okay.
So we're hoping that you come home soon.
Oh, yes.
A succession plan.
Hopefully, in the future. My last question relates to the veterans. You're saying there's programs in place. I guess my question is, for the veterans returning from their duties and planning to reside in Palau, what resources do they have through those programs? And would that include exemption or reduced taxing?
Okay, so the veterans, when we talk about benefits, before they were not receiving their medical benefits while they were in Palau. If they got sick, they had to pay for their way to go to Guam or Hawaii for treatment. So the veteran benefits that we're talking about is something that we've been fighting for a long time. And now, if you're in Palau, you're going to be able to get medical care, but also be sent off island if you need medical care. So this is a huge benefit to hopefully bring veterans back. As far as taxes, well, they don't receive any income in Palau, so they don't pay income taxes. I think you're asking if they return home, are they going to pay taxes on their household goods coming from the United States to Palau? So in this past supplemental budget that was passed, there was an amendment done to the PGST, which now exempts the return of household goods from being taxed. They still get taxed for cars, but household items like pots, pans, furniture, whatever, the clothes they're bringing back, they will not be taxed. Those household personal effects. So hopefully that is another incentive for them to come back. The other thing that was also part of that exemption was if you do send things from the outside to Palau, to individuals. They're exempt up to $1,000 and a total of $5,000 per year. So,
Maraming salamat, President.
thank you for the questions.
And I have a couple of questions as well. Ate ulo kaming Minister Obiang na-mention na igal bebira infrastructure last National Environmental Symposium planning ira last week, I think. It's last week. Tamasao that telpli la komi. Lakalwid it's a one last 25 years. To spring 25 years. Though Mr. Ngid lang in the first 3 years, kadam la reach 7% capacity. Ma question lang si ngaral luro ramra el help para make sure it tell Black Omes ito spring 25 years and dakatil 10 years, 15 years maximum.
Diam sulang elera agrima atara amlo in place el mal important tertel es el landfill que habla comía a colecta data every day el comil método el método Miguel lo hacen se ve del recycle el comí Miguel ko kakal se ve el recycle mangira del mo tertel landfill ay ulang important le base ra survey ra lulang seori kita adara siapa lang mga mokle kadam lo sepedal ko to diesel wayal ko ra estimation ra capacity ra lila ko mirigida ra sila 25 years eseya kita mokla klungel ma design ringi wasi kita moswel hindi kita rogul matingel wasi things get change along the way. The project ringil 25 years and more nga slightly different in terms value ringil. Idel data el at collect katasyen mora adra siya palol nga seorigit giya photo spell was at sukum maral actions about the take el sebedel maral kalmo moral wala po do giungi hemos el motive diesel was in at least 25 years old spare talet filter ese la comida ver ko patong na sulbihan dai ka 25 years say the data collection say amado spare ni
ngari tingela Minister Victor wase kaleda ngaralet ko digo dokere Minister Obiang wase agomi angaralet el segregate tara clol problem ra gomi ste bargid kidel badar belaw adar lisel ngaralet wase haulangan la morsei a plastica morsei dia da segregate ta gomi rid al chum swadele extend la life problem gomi rid close to tell the segregate and recycle like always rid so ngora di reminder e ulaktat kel morgid ra ulo wase agomi mangaralet dia dil galet
So lang the follow-up persel direct el statement ta presidente minister ngari ke luriol maran el time los anges ora kagros el NGO ma siya pala chayka especially ra to era segregation mangaringi Abriol Marara sila especially ay kalbalura kayuk al segregate ta committee hindi kadam lo matiga ringi sel conference lo say ay ka ta segregate ra way mali ka sila malakomi ta malo taktakro kol malo tura ne blakomi malmable lakomi so ngara sab el makatmok rulise mang morning mo radio say gege del baby ra ako mi direct al follow up persel direct minister amlani aldadura alel alboring isil bli la komil base aikel ngaringil bli la komil apa benda apol rehabilitate di to date teng kora ter ka kauriol girele wal kora amla startup pollution el motob dan morata de to kora aikel la komi angara coastline mang kam kora di info waisu sekata girel gera selurior
me que cerrado es el last part ayer a close out regel multiple ko mira vet state maral ne plan e kada mal mol melo oro girel kita mai gal state government per dire el madengel was en tora ay gel bli la ko mi am lo dar sel clock clear mang kada oro lo mantrira len honor sa state government was rehabilitation al boda tegri makaranya da sabed el good nuclear clock clear el moringa usber dir sela future and dice tira apol oro y dolor carder como el mal bacteria state government la close out regel el mutter bila comirtir mara mal mol magdore el gire del close out habla come e me gulitra victoria maria a program el gire del south semble con
So, Mr. Minister, Mr. Troncel, Noringil meeting ra earthera del landfill ra li wabel kultuk kasi es kadamral segregate ra sel office and diesel la tobdra office and moral budulla landfill indi mor imol toraga wal gram lengal sang sel lai awon masem lo penal waisay so ngani agora effort ra mafe ma MHRC TV ma PBA ma Palau Plates agora state ta umbral waseng gilngel waseng sebril tira sumo the provider amlay etamo manwakta gigid el gomil mora landfill ma si agora abrió el gegrey digo mo lo ni larse gid el abrió qasit kada mara adres ra el programa no es el government el oral muklum mara tetel so segi de ahora se va a lograr ir el segi solo
ayole de kutele agadi melo toram regel mora mersale melo toram regel babe diksa da el torbelo alilohi Marissa, was a good question, but I think I should explain in Palawan what you asked me, so I think it was an important question. Ako tululang mulgel was Tialo moral moral clara blur belaw ako lo aiso ase kita cerrado hotel mor murtra the house no será blur bela moral moral clara blur bela ado la suara yim dangali tomara tara blum radam lora Iowa tomara tara blur radam lora Michigan tianga tal kita albagari kado moral wase tara koto clono brado la realidad wasiga yero kulteal wase magrana algeta mo Sabril di tirut makla dra klinik kira bela wila randir ligu wila hospital gitu wila school gitu wila awur gitu wila te alla ra ro gitu man se adem artiang ke wila rude mot mor la dra mang ayel kita magal gut mokra di tel la umre kan dia rak sel ministry ra human resources digam la program bertil more focused on Osiga urerir aratar bela. Hoy ariti atra odor do artiri tingari ari program rit osiga urerir aratar bela. Increase training marangal yada mosil participate regel urol ngari rapur bela. Di tara example celular sira minister trigal participate trigal ngal yada sumul malal bak mo sul tego bre ayal urerir ataya atur gaid. Di regal olsis babes el treta ragru whether tora fintech tourism المسكينة غاغروس الماجترا تورا توريست ولا بيقول سولدال مرا بلور بلا من كريتا بيسن التريتارا ورا بلور بلا دي أياس الغاري روي دي السمو ديرا رادا دي من الغاريو عندك السمري كيرا بلور بلا ما ترى هذا هو الذي الهيران والغاسا ولو غاسا ودو ديران أراد الغرا government ما state government Ayan na umre kalero rak. Finally, na role bilang lakongin raise ra. Sil minimum wage ra private sector. Ang batch ng government, anuun mo $5 October 2025. Mo 425 rela October, ya next year yung $5. May ayaro lurar at makal losigat teal maral gidak adi man mon magkira blue belaw. Hindi daw ay sirwase ngayon miltelal ngelak na ngayon miltelal adra ko blue urar al sila blue belaw embel mol malmal mabutok. Adra blue belaw urar adra belaw adi ay miltelal embral mo losos ilak embral mo pasay embral tutu tilalger hidro siya hidro miltel المال المليسي راجي زي مغرورة بلور بلاو أقوم برانو أسيق مال بطوغة ديال ريغان مرا الميلة ليو الراغ المري من راغ لكلو أبدال اللي يرى لو غضر ديال بلو بورت ايربورت هوتيل بتوغل infrastructure ما development مرا المي هذا ما يولي ترى كده سي بلو تلميرمي إذا ذاقل سميسي إذا ضريت تغر ديال بلوان Celt question in our veterans, of course, under a compact, na mo te alert tigel tira amne server kalto dara program rigel silver belaw etem la mo eligible rat khora benefits medical benefits na mo dagal wangara mo li gidi til flan mo rawai makon musiga anyeso ikida mo mo musiga ya hotel benefits our veterans ikilo lara ablu rawai se goda por sin lara ablu belaw diesel tara unda sengal tiri galgero ase ma atax tmara atax ma ayel tiri chumtamla ayel retirement tertina de gata taxling de galin kamera blur belaw di bay sila important kero ase ese lo lokal mera blur belaw etem khadamo taxer tir unda se question at ora PGST مثل دريبلا بسانة يل supplemental budget أما تكليرو سي يل household personal effects مول غوليرن بيليرن furniture تير ولا برابلور أمريكان نوت مرابلور بلاو تما exempt ترى تخسر سي كده أيه كده كلو كلير أدري خل مرال سيل supplemental أسي أشوف كاول individual غير كلو كلام منو بعضه أنا أدري كده بلور بلاو تروح لك كاول نخورها أشوف مين الأقرا تلتلال غارة تخسري يسمو غريرة تلتلال يكسم ترى تخسري up to 5,000 على سخت الرقم so أيه حكم modification أمر سلتين من أمريكا supplemental الغرة موصوبة كتير تجي جدا ترى تصل الملوك المؤتمر بلاد رولي المطيب البيض سولا رامي النوم الجن
اللي لاست الكريكي malmarila to sigar ka obi ang mga hospital ti ala lugar el kero no dil mo tuli follow up yourself kira landfill understanding nga kasi makatatal talmal la incinerator hospital may medical waste di bololak ra landfill first of all, tell sing safe in terms of biohazards. Ang irungi yung arakora mo tangali lulul maral kinet say. Ito sa hospital makti so kaldi koram ask a question ni kinet sa plan na relocation na hospital. Ngariya pa biniya rubul oriol malakal wida oriol lase hospital din remain ang ara oriol. Mang kukulase ko mo expert sila lalo omistering ngaringi ako ra area ra oriol blam identify ngi malubon sang motangalila sang asab eltial hospital el relocate tal moringi al ubeng lakal widen dire kal ngaya bibira blura babanda na ofera at temil gida la mobesa hospital digay dal tablong and then patigya kari kal marita
sel digay gida tablong ilayga operaw de ko din pero trata dum me ida agimnara state visit ra imiligra sus ya kira lagi mera minister verbal gilel incinerator ma omlang ida ngaramol me naringa incinerator hindi na ka incinerator makabila mol nga incinerator yung hindi na kaltokara ay kagitali sa safety ma environment tamno igire dan malmon mal upgrade dan malubgat improve our related ngari nga incinerator nga hospital lobar other hospital hindi ngari ang Ministro Erbela di lulwas ngari nga almut el PS el product el safe ay kal atul el dekal sal mal atul mal obel matalgal atul el es sardo saras se lobarela ultimately en so adal morsegi del equipment o si time el al lakad sa baril kadamaral malaklay ka hindi ngari nga ay el tele tamangat mokla list the minimize mal zero outer cell impact ring mora surrounding environment abasyol lang ring yes kaya kita amal mol mere lado do kita mar other hospital ya kardiregal minister el para kasus sa ulangit leadership mar other legal wase moring ngil ado maklaw ngay may gelwal kora concern ma isura adrablu about the how they hopefully settle address makut maklia incinerator ngi regidal ngi amara ngi server ablu maigel el cook mo o gire dal mga moklo yo incinerator al mora hospital so that will come al legal weeks langar madadara ado lo panggala leadership ma ara adrablu ray milika ay gel aldo of course yung mo otolo ring ya tigal ko kadarwa QPB mar bebira ara adal tira ko mara environment rig a task force abe el hospital adiregal tarayel task force el president Salmer office yung milkat pi ma task force Amelia Aurelela atas force mo magigrel committee nariya ko committee la kaluidem ne chairingia ngelulam terar governors yung task force was kami ba mga do ay gal governor may gal state was saint asbel motor abesel mo makadarar abesel hospital endim nariya align el drawing sel raira kiyuk morata hospital sea de duración como digo mesra al sel mer odor nenda kal sal sab edal mo mga roider gider tel cloud population ng odor may dry au riura along the do engel kukulum tersiam nailo la patablol offer awan ra offer ablur ngat pa sel area ra koksay ongero ra offer peluray dry sel area ra pepula asyomin sarami egal utom ra state alubeng egal land authority egal balu lola ba certificate of title sea taram ne egim dilira sel committee wase kade girel utom dollar ngi a state malubeng PLA egal state PLA ASPLA egal state oba title ring matam ni lola ba igel tablong naringat title lola ma-offer nga resolution ma-support makangera governor igel balulo der siya utam mera national government at no cost el modo orinya be sa hospital aware agim submit report final report mamil mora president agire mle imora member mama ulu ay selwase a oror mandirekal ngari of the swell wasem sebele relate al hospital tel asahiguran der al time mang sedim nagim iti agim ne include ngira self final report ang mamil mora president was ay gagida status ra maumso de la gel tablel utmablel offer ay ray mangat pang et gagida direkal luldaso ma aldado mlamay alwasa orora direkal ngari of the swell offer asahiguran dal mo o sa traves al hospital.
Guardi modo lise ele lo hace kida of course kada na madador tigel development partners program regel shabal Taiwan Australia tigare el meeting er tire kada umro singir del coordinator del hospital de Galigrel toy guardi rough estimate al hospital kalam sadra 150 million es segura di rough estimate mang kluludo da mo kakari girel involve planning de kaligira di o mesre lal sils kiel tibul kamang lo se kida adilura dulungi tertilo se bem first step medre la feasibility study el mal sum la moriga del trial site med evaluate the mesro se let's use experts to help us and disadvantages, advantages, cost, all of those things. Y de ser lo hace. Ngara sel mal mo ira long-term development tra ablur bela. I think seguida gira der murtrim. I know lo hace. La motril state utuk na mo kay brober. Di gira el mon kitar un lang idil state al sumawana me selected. Gira lo sigir sel gotruil gira rath. Mam akti duli sea damra asulam rigel mlamol. Tamla kongir sel assistant sa USTDN mamru sel first step sel study. And then from there natirikan na kora kamit rase kada mo set makalo siya do lugot makli kora di hint rase asya pala lagi na contribution rin ma Taiwan but anyway this is a plolo brother el toy hindi kada maralo singkat mo ille ikida am na rase tial existing hospital rin mungkin del man continue lo speri for the meantime for at least the next 6 years hospital starting today we're thinking 2030 or beyond kita Saudara besa hospital ang namamraya kadalat moral sil that's how long we have to plan duka dingo a one-stop shop for example this data construction ara 2021 elakada maybe we'll open it this year 4 years later so just to give you kara bistirada yang so tara doruri a make sure tel dos hospital dos peri lang asa de mal los peri mo kada maintain and upgrade and keep it up to speed. So, meso al share sula.
Mr. President, actually, the last question na ni Musubes mal the last one, it's related and more, can mention as a economic advisory consultation going on right now, partnership. Kada do gid Madam Miguel mesada gel ngaring iluror el time edire kalsum ngani akora sab edal kaing seuringi kata share with them taraman le mentioning it before el toera improvement toera economy ma support tra tourism of Belawa expand the airport target kan mention I believe one time that it might cost somewhere around 700 million mang jal kotomes lo si Amerika la kamit mo military la kamit expand ra airport travel direct expand ra airport ra tinyan ngani ako ra aldo al maral tiang partner ngi al ubeng ko ra mal na mo to ka request ri kita mga angarabak por na toera kita economic development.
Kita maldriga magador years till to airport marshal daw did their initial estimates at airport. So alas del JCM li plari te dilor kita rase a costra expansion airport terbela 2 to 3 billion. Misera el deliti alo ure. E kada te ase te dile ase ndegal samla for the real te degal. It's not feasible at this time. Actimas que me example el airport la expansion era Blue Lab amo dual runway degal one it's a dual runway total budget cost for everything is 400 million se include the compensation out so bela the extension of the one runway 2 to 3 billion mutokora waldo ase kami do mesa better alternatives. In fact, ito ba yung mas rablila oras ito? Ang siriyo lang, airport rablila, expanding mo kamangal. Malsungun suwada kamangal, it's not mo rablila mo. Kasi wala tila kurang panigarikiya hindi. So, in fact, rather Australia, o knesendra wana timer men subat ora tourism, transportation was how do we improve our linker below? One of the things they discovered was because of the length of the runway, of course, we're restricted. They was more importantly, find the right partner airline and provide a service in Berbelo. They have to have the right aircraft, the right engines. A321s are good. They have long range in Mega Sydney. There's 737s that have the capacity Sometimes they get low-cost carriers. Tira magkakaray mong, tos pera ka mga runway, maulong na kalsaril may. So, first, we need to identify trial carriers that have the right aircraft, the right engines. So let's go approach them about Palau. Of course, the best thing is if we had our own airline. One of the things that they've learned though is I get 800 series. This is first at 787 at Tilo. Say Marcel Lender Belaw. This is what at 767. A problem is I got airline service rita de Tartilo Skogige. So if we had our own airline, we'd go and get the planes and start. But that's something we should think about. Get Rames I get roll. Yeah, 7878 as an Artian unstable Mura Hawaii, even West Coast Ramriel or Dubai. So open up a vessel teal. So mga model is what's that airline? Maybe we should start an airline. But we've got to look at all those options. Try to solve it. I look at it as a problem. We need more tourists. We need to diversify the market. We need aircraft. We need runways. How do we solve the problem? And so they're saying this is one way. And maybe if they're willing to spend 300 million, maybe they can invest 300 million in an airline. I got the ideas that we have to think about. How do we develop and diversify with the risk constraints that we have? In the 80s, always at the airport, I was at the Kita, the rule. At the same time, I'm expensive, I'm extending. Brother Shabal, I'm proposing more airport and more Abebula, Lumarari, till Cross Island Road, a bubble down. So that's still an option, but so those are things that we need to consider, but we continue to find ways to try to solve issues that we face. And of course, the last resort, pero the airport trap, Liliwa, at Malanda Maclot's Kogi, or another Merorio. That's another option. But, umpisa nga naman mga plano sa airport, Ablilawa International, so it's still an option.
Still an option.
But that could change things. Mamuklote na Ablilaw. I mean, it is our... But, hindi ako do that. So, gather to it ourselves, na motor ay giligyan malmaklo expensive, malmaklo infrastructure. And the best partner, of course, is the military. Soldahan. The most pay. Matamakador, kita siya the most pay. Legal, runway, alam mo joint use. So lang.
That's my question. So lang. Yep. That's it.
Bigyan.
Next save. Save annex.
Mang, next press conference in Constitution Day? Or close to it. Anyway, July 10. July 10 holiday on July 9. So we'll have the 2 weeks from now is July 10, yes. So hopefully kuklumutan mer sa literati abelaw.
Off island.
At off island, okay. Dirikali mo wise was July 16 to 18 mo niya Palm. Kada mo attend their cell Palm and just looking forward. Dirikali cell July 29 to August 2nd. Yung ari cell International Seabed Authority meaning ra Blura Jamaica. Kita mo attend the look. Kita of course advocate cell moratorium ra deep sea bed mining. Also planning ayat Marisel Omal Marathon na beginning of September. Diri ka lang ni Cell 80th anniversary mo rin Blue Rablido to ka-register kita May. But of course October 1st makata. Diri ka mga makuri kita kilay. Lastly kita amal so atal di mo recognize tira public servants Blakan real masyur arbek latar pelar arbek zils el tukubet zils tira zils. Happy birthday and mora Millicent Isabong Kwan Isabong Kangara Tiala Officer kita Presidenta. Happy birthday Isabong. Walter Mario Jr. Kangara Customs. Direkal Nicholas Aquino Junior, nga diri ka lang na customs. Rahel, Jose, kasinsira, nga Pelilio Elementary School. Diri ka, Abardong, Malayangan, nga Bureau of Public Works. John Rick, Evangelista, nga Healthy Info and Intelligence, nga MHHS. Happy birthday, congratulations. Adios la almon no makaltanga terbe kala terbe law mal balwa terapulur belaw. Manek sa lakas July 10. Kaman sula.